by-election that took place a week ago. We want to hold off just a little bit so we could have some time and sit with the results and what happened that night and the week afterwards. This is Anne, our president of the NDP party of Prince Edward Island. I want to bring her in as well on the conversation to get her insights. For those that don't know me, I'm Zane Nicholson, the nominee for District 11, Charlottetown Belvedere. And let's get right into the meat of it. I don't think this was much of a by-election about issues. I think this was much more a review about the leaders, in particular, the Red and Blue Party. The Green Party setting this up had a lot of momentum coming in from the spring session, and they were the only party that if they lost by just a little bit, it'd still be a big win, considering the history of Cornwall Meadowbank. Mm-hmm. But for Red and Blue, this was a little bit of a lose-lose situation. And the way that the night ended out, it definitely felt the losses on both sides. Mm-hmm. And you could see both leaders reacting differently. Obviously, Robert Mitchell running. He was in front of the CBC cameras whenever things were happening. And Robert Lance's absenteeism is felt. It doesn't appear that he said much since. Mm-hmm. He only did a pop-in for Kaylee, the Progressive Conservatives watch party. But maybe we should start with the winner, Tate Willows. Tate, I believe, ran an excellent campaign. I was able to sit in on the Cornwall Civic Center's debate run by the Chamber, and she was an amazing speaker. She's somebody that didn't sound like a politician. She had facts to follow up her ideas. She didn't use near the amount of catchphrases that Robert Mitchell used. You could tell that she was new to this, but in the best way new. Do you have any thoughts about...
I'll just say, watching her social media since, right? I mean, like today, she was packing up her office at Health PEI to make the move. And it's just that kind of like real human touch, right? So, and I think that in talking to Craig, right, and we know that Craig sort of couldn't do the campaigning at the end and couldn't go to the debate. I watched it online, and you could tell that room was packed. And people didn't clap except the few that did, right, which was great. I love when people do stuff like that. But what was so important for me in this by-election was that district going to vote for a change, or was it going to go back and forth the way that it's gone back and forth, like most of this island has gone back and forth so often? And it very definitely voted for a change. And listening to Tate talk, watching the excitement of everybody about what seems to be an excitement around that by-election, which we hope carries through to whenever a general election happens, perhaps there's an appetite for some real change. We know the issues that people are facing. I just want to draw our attention to, so Tate at one point in that debate talked about basic income guarantee, right? Which is also in the NDP platform and has been for a long time. I don't know if folks have been reading, but in The Guardian, our Guardian, not the British one, but in The Guardian recently, there's been 6 articles about basic income guarantee, right, by the PEI Coalition for a Livable Income. I'm sure I just mangled their name. But those are fabulous, right? So, and again, that's not an unnecessary alignment with the NDP, but it is highlighting the issues that are captivating people's attention right now. And that seems really important, right? So congratulations to Tate. And I look forward to being able to work with whoever articulates the issues that reflect the values of the NDP.
The one thing that I do regret about the whole thing is that I never shook her hand. I kind of zoomed out afterwards, and I wish that I took the time to stick around. I unfortunately had some family stuff to do immediately afterwards, but I hope one day I do get to meet her more officially. So coming in second was Robert Mitchell. He is, of course, stepped down since. He is definitely somebody that is very good in campaigning. He remembers your name. He remembers your father's and your mother's name. He is somebody.
He has a lot of experience with this.
He does have a lot of experience, and it definitely shows with his answers. He has them down packed. He had the room laughing and chuckling a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
He is very good at what he does. And he talks about his experience quite often. It shows, but I don't think that he understands that his experience is something that we still remember. I think he was trying to play a little bit on nostalgia. Whenever we remember in recent memory what it was like to have a grit government, some of the things that he was trying to push, that the Grits actually were paying down the debt. Well, really in total, over the 12 years that they were last in power, they raised our debt level by over $750 million. That whenever he tried to make statements, it just felt like a politician. And I don't think that's what people are looking for. Whenever people talk about change, 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 I think sometimes with the Grits and the Tories that they think change to red, change to blue, change to red. And I think what people are actually looking for is change to a person, not change to a politician,
Mm-hmm.
change to a representative.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely somebody that deserves all the respect in the world. You can tell that he very much cares for his family, that he had that conversation beforehand about him running, that it wouldn't be a forever run, that he took 2 shots. I think that it's commended that he does well doing that, but I'm very glad that Georgetown and Cornwall both said no and looked elsewhere, especially towards Kate Willows.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that excites me about electoral politics, if I can say that, which I'm not often excited by, even given what I'm doing, but it's politics for me is supposed to be people representing each other for a certain period of time. It's not a career. It's not something you do for 40 years, right? I mean, I look at career politicians and I'm kind of horrified. I want people to come out of their communities, work for and with their communities for a certain amount of time, and then move on, right? And so I think that was the excitement about Tate for me, was this is somebody from her community. It was the same excitement for Craig, right, who loves this area, loves Cornwall Meadowbank, has run there before, has run for the Malpeque region in the federal NDP historically. So historically, that makes it sound ancient, but in the past, right? And it's people who come from community, who care about their communities, who want to work with and for their communities for a certain amount of time. That's really exciting. And I think that excitement really came through in this by-election.
One thing that caught me a little bit off guard is at the end of this CBC interview, how much Robert Mitchell said that he's party first, party first, party first. And I think that might be one of those changes that Islanders are looking for, that they want Islanders first. They want constituents first. They want people first, not party first. People want to be represented regardless of who they voted for at that time. They want to feel like they have a voice, not just somebody that wears a red tie. Every constituent, every person, doesn't matter. Everybody wants a voice. And I think that's one of the changes that sometimes the traditional parties are tone deaf to. But let's move on to Kayleigh McDonald. She's the PC representative, and I think that she deserves so much better. To be frank, I knew her beforehand. She was a grade ahead of me in school. I have nothing but good things to say to her. Heck, my wife was supposed to get a maternity massage right before she went into labor. And Kayleigh she's just great as a person, good ball player,
It's
obviously
such
plays
a PEI story right there.
It really is. But I think the PC's sunk her ship. I don't have a whole lot of nice things to say about Robert Lance. I think that his brand automatically drags whoever steps up down. Whenever they put out their $100 million 80-bed long-term care present for District 16, it was very much a pig and lipstick type of gift. It's a bad deal. And I think everybody saw through that they were trying to buy a vote or two or do a big splash with big money. This was not the way to do it. And then for Brendan Curran and a volunteer from the PC party to be taking down green pamphlets, that really kind of summed up what this group of progressive conservatives are about. That behind closed doors, they take bikes away from kids, they take books away from kids. I can throw them so much farther than I trust them. I think that Kaylee had a lot to overcome, and it wasn't her that got that result, that third place result. It was the PC party.
I think that's an important point, right? And one, when we were talking before we started recording, that it seems like this by-election, well, I think you said it at the very beginning, is a kind of referendum on the current leaders, the current party, right? More than not taking anything away from Tate, who ran a fabulous campaign and is going to be a terrific MLA. But this was also a referendum on our existing government, who did not come out so well. About what Kaylee did is, like Tate, people who come out of their community believe in politics as being about for and with their community for a certain period of time, right? I mean, politics is, at least the way that I think of it, not a career. It's not something you get to do for 40 years or 80 years or however long you do it, right? It should be, I think, ideally, a commitment from some people who have something to offer their community, work with their community for a certain period of time, and then move on and do something else. But that's what excites me about electoral politics. And so kudos to Kaylee for that was her talk the whole time, right? Was that she's of this community, she runs a business, et cetera, et cetera.
I guess it's time to bring us to Team Orange, to pull back the curtain, to see how the cake is baked.
Nice metaphor.
Thanks. I do my best. So whenever we came into this, I think it was very clear that we knew that we weren't going to win. And that wasn't what this election was about for us. Whenever we came into this, our goal was to start building credibility, start showing that the NDP is a viable option, that our ideas really have merit and can bring the province forward. And Craig Nash as a candidate, I think, was a really good fit. He is a veteran. He has lived experience that nobody else on that stage did. And it was just completely unfortunate that he had a cardiac event at the beginning of the campaign whenever he started putting some boots on the ground. I'm so glad that he's doing okay, that he's making some changes, getting some testing, and really putting a positive foot forward on his health. And he really hasn't let go of any of that positivity that he brings to that role either.
We talked to him just before doing this recording too, right? To see what he had to say, or if he had anything he wanted to contribute to this. And the thing that he said, which again is the thing that really speaks to my heart, is that he loves Cornwall Meadowbank. He loves the Malpeque area. He has run before in Cornwall Meadowbank. He has run federally in the Malpeque riding, right? That this is somebody who's as committed to his community, to this group of large group of people, and I really like the way you put this, right? I mean, if this was a by-election that was about change, right, then whatever the color became at the end, the change away from red or blue seemed to be the really important change. And that's the thing that we really want to build on, right? That it's time for a change in this province. It's more than time for a change in this province. So let's do that.
It was definitely an exciting election. I was watching live on the Island Do. They did an amazing live results party. It was fun watching Ron McKinley call on in and for them to take down result by result. It really sparked a little bit of a fire. But I guess that's what's next, is a full election to see if this change is going even further. And I really, truly believe it is. That, at least in my mind, the Conservatives are not going to want to put out another budget that would completely sink their ship, whether they're going to go so far into debt or try to do a whole bunch of cuts, because we know that they're really good at cutting important things. So that means that we need to be ready for fall and spring. And I think we're kind of doing a good job behind the scenes, getting people in, moving forward as a party, getting organized, especially this last year and a bit under some new leadership.
We have a platform. We will be releasing parts of the whole platform over the next couple of months.
We want to make sure that people get to sink their teeth into our ideas, how we're moving forward, and what that would look like if we were to come on in. With this next election, I think that you're going to see a different NDP party than what you've seen in the past. Our values are absolutely our values, and they haven't changed. But what we look like, what we sound like, and how we're moving forward with those do look a lot different. And I think people might get a little bit excited once we start rolling this stuff out.
I want to go back to something you said a minute ago, right? So there was a lot of excitement around this by-election. I mean, partly because it's Cornwall Meadowbank and it's a large district and clearly a very active district, right? But also, I mean, I go back to the two by-elections last summer, right, and the one in the fall. I mean, this government has called their by-elections with the shortest possible timeline that they're legally allowed, right? That, in fact, they had to extend by a day because they miscounted, right? I forget which one it was. I think it was last summer. And so even in the what seems to me a kind of blatant attempt to I don't even know what the expression is when it's electoral politics. I think of union busting, right? A very blatant attempt to kind of diminish any possible investment in electoral politics. Nonetheless, people came forward, right? People stepped up. And that was quite clear at, just that one debate, but also at, by all accounts, what people were hearing at the door. So yeah, I think there's some exciting times in our future. And I'm just going to second everything you say under new leadership, that there's a fabulous group of people involved in the NDP. And there's some new folks involved. Zane, for instance, Doreen, who's videoing us right now. There's a number of new people with a lot of it. I mean, new people are always exciting, right? Because they have lots of ideas, like making regular videos, for instance. So I'm looking forward to where we go.
It also helps that we have fantastic people that have stuck around and really gave their experience. That you have right from Michelle, Larry Lawrence, Marion,
Edith, Herb,
Katie, Herb. The list really goes on. I'm sorry if I forgot your name, but having all those people to mentor going through. And one of the things that I really do like about the NDP is the people in the front are the people in the back. Our back room is made out of people who've run before, who have been forward facing. And the people that are running now, I think it's something to be excited for.
I mean, one of the things that I love about the NDP and this group of people is that people have stuck around for like 30 years, not because it's the winningest party, I can't even say that word, right? And yet they show up all the time. And for me, that speaks about a set of values that are held really closely, very deeply. And this is the party that the closest reflects that set of values for any number of us. That's really important. That's the thing that we can never compromise on. And we won't. And we don't.
Thanks for sticking around right to the end. We'll be going back to our regular programming, those 1 minute long videos of issue, statistic, solution. And thank you so much for supporting us along the way. Please reach out to us. We have all the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, emails, telephone numbers. We want to talk to you. Please reach out at any time.